Thank you.
Marvelous. Okay, for the record, what's your full name and your maiden name? What were you born?
Rosa Ana Hinojosa Lozano.
Okay.
And I was born in May the 7th, 1928.
1928.
I'm 77 years old right now.
Okay.
More close to 78 than 77. In May, I'll be 78.
Oh, that's wonderful. That's
Thank
wonderful.
Jesus. Thank God.
And your parents' names? What were your parents' names?
My mother's name was Maria, Mary, and my daddy's name was Hermenegildo, but they always call him Gil.
Okay.
See, I have their picture, their wedding picture. Okay. I have the wedding picture of my daddy and my mother, and I have the wedding picture of my daddy and my stepmother, because my mother died. She was only 30 years old when she died, and it was 6 of us little rascals. And then 2 years after, he remarried. He married a school teacher, and we have 2 half-sisters in Corpus Christi. Both of them are in Corpus Christi. But we see each other like, sisters. She had those 2.
Is that where you were born, Corpus?
No, I was born in Benavides.
Okay.
And Richard and Jesse, Rosemary, and Annabelle were born in Alice. And Alice, Benavides was very little town. They didn't have any hospitals or anything. They were born in the Alice Hospital, Jesse and Rosemary and Annabelle. And we were living in Corpus. The priest over there in Benavides said, because we would go and baptize the kids over there, and he said, you're going to have to build a house in between Corpus and Benavides, because we had to go. And by the time Richard was born, he was the only one born in Corpus, in the Spawn Hospital, where they have all those nuns,
Mm-hmm.
There's where he was the only one in Corpus. The other ones, we were living in Corpus Christi, but when Jesse was born, we were living in Benavides. But then we moved to Corpus Christi, and we will live in Corpus Christi from Monday to Friday, and we will spend weekends in Benavides. Okay. Every weekend.
Okay. We'll come back to the kids and things. I want to go back a little bit earlier first, when you were a child and growing up. Okay. So you were in Benavides, and tell me about your schooling when you were a young child.
Well, we didn't know English like now, a day that my kids don't speak Spanish anymore. I was to blame for it. I thought it was better studying them in the English language instead of the Spanish. But when we started school, all of us, the 6 of us, we didn't know how to speak English. And we didn't have any trouble learning it. And now, I cannot teach I try, and I cannot teach my kids. The other day I called Jessica. Jessica is the worst one. I called her and I said, where were you all? Were you andando de pata de perro? And then she comes and tells Annabelle, I don't know, Grandma called me, she said something about pata de perro. She didn't know what it meant. It's something else. But anyway, so the girls are pretty good. I mean, they can speak. And Jesse, he gets pretty bad sometimes because lately he doesn't practice it at all. Mm-hmm. But I don't think he'd forget it. And Richard, well, he was the one that didn't know how to speak Spanish. But they had him working at the Houston Yacht Club one time. He was the foreman with some guys, and they were all from Mexico. And he had a lot of trouble getting, communicating with them. Mm-hmm. But finally, he learned something with them there, some Spanish. And then when he got married, his in-laws did not speak English at all. So he had to learn Spanish.
Oh, yeah.
See, so his kids are the only grandkids that I have that are bilingual. The other ones don't speak.
But when you went through school, you went to a Spanish-speaking school? English?
No, there was no Spanish speaking.
Yeah.
We studied from the first kindergarten, the first grade, English. Mm-hmm. And we didn't have any trouble at all picking it up. No trouble.
Boy, it's just so different than it is now, because now you have all the bilingual schools and English as a second language.
But now, see how hard it is for my kids. They can learn it.
Yeah.
Jesse, the third, even took it in school. And when, let me tell you, Richard's kids, they know such good Spanish. And now Nikki doesn't want to talk Spanish anymore. And they were the only one that I didn't raise, Richard, because he lived over there. All the other grandkids, I raised them. I took care of them. And one day, Richard, Jesse the third was with Richard, and he told something in Spanish to Nikki. And Nikki answered him. Jesse the third said, "Why didn't you tell her? Why didn't you tell her? Look, what did she..." He had never heard her talking Spanish. I'm telling you, and he was delighted because she could do it and he cannot do it. And he took it in school. But we have a lady at the video shop, we were talking about that, and she said, I took 4 years when I was in high school, 4 years of Spanish, and then when I went to college, I took 2 years of Spanish, and right now I don't know a word in Spanish. Can you believe it? I don't know. I mean, it's hard.
Well, it's one of those things that, if you don't use it, you get rusty, Okay, going back. Now, you said you were born in 28, 29?
Yeah, May the 7th, 1928.
Okay, so 1928, and then you went through grammar school, you went on to high school.
Right.
At that time, okay, so how old were you when Pearl Harbor happened, in the beginning of World War II?
Oh, my gosh. I don't know.
Well, 28 to 45.
You were 13.
I was 13. Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
28 to 41, you were 13.
Well,
Okay.
28 to 41.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you heard about Pearl Harbor, and obviously you saw, a lot of people that you knew going off to war. Did you have close relatives that were involved in the war?
No, I don't remember about anybody, going or anything. I just remember my daddy, reading the newspaper all the time and telling us about things that were happening. But I don't remember anything else.
Okay.
Our mother died when I was just 9 years old.
Right.
And my brother, the one that lives here, he was 4 years old when she died. So. And we were living at the ranch. Daddy sold all his property, where we are in that there. That's the property in Benavides. That one where we are right there. That's where the goat is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the property in Benavides, and my daddy sold all that. My mother had she was part ownership of the first grocery store that they had. All the half a block. They had the store right here on the corner, the big store. It was grocery store and dry goods at the same. They had everything there. Mm-hmm. And then my mother had owned a barber shop right here. All this was her property from this street to this street. Mm-hmm. Half of it. And then she had a rent house, and then at the corner was their house where they took that picture. But then my daddy, he was a roughneck, and then he wanted the ranch, and he wanted a ranch, and And he had, he said he wanted a ranch. So he sold all of mother's property and their cars that they had and everything, and bought this ranch over there in Benavides. And he had to fence everything because it was open land. It was not fenced, and make a water well, drill a water well, and so to have water, and all that stuff. But anyway, we didn't have no plumbing. I was telling Annabelle one time, we were here. You should be happy and proud that you have all this. When I was growing up, it was very hard for us. We didn't have running water. The water that we had there, we couldn't wash our hair with. We would wash clothes, but it was ugly. It was hard water, and you couldn't use it for that. Anyway, and she said, "Well, I'm sorry, Mama. If you didn't have this, that's too bad. But we have it."